Hi guys, Queen of Flannel here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. The Watercolor Wednesday that almost never was. So, I I had a moment this morning, you guys. Uh it took me about an hour to get this image to print out, and my printer, if you've ever seen the movie Office Space, almost found itself outside in the snow. For whatever reason this morning, it just was not having any of printing out on this watercolor paper that that it's previously had minimal issues printing out on. So um yeah, by the time I got my image um printed out, I almost just just called it and just didn't want to work on the image anymore, which is sad because this is an adorable image, and I was really excited to color. I'm still excited to paint it in a chat with you guys, but spending an hour messing around with my printer, not so much. So this image is from Lenka Filinenko. I got this on Etsy, and I will link to it in the description box below. This is gonna be paint and chat slash, well, color and chat, but with paint today. I'm trying to find the link here in my, yeah. So I will link to this image in the description box below. It is adorable. I'm really excited to color this despite the challenges getting it to print out this morning. I am going to use my Daniel Smith paints. I've already pre-wet them, so we should be good to go there. Um, and I think I'm going to mix my own green to start with. I thought about pulling out some Perylene green or bringing out my other palette that I know has the Perylene green in it, but I have quite a bit of stuff on my desk and not a whole lot of space. So I'm just going to make my own. Let's go with a little in purple and sap green. I'm trying to get like a pine type, a deeper green than just the sap green. But that's not bad. We'll go with that. So I'm gonna start with the my holly leaves because there are a lot of them. So let's see, what do I have? Oh, that's right. I'll have to see how that looks once it dries. I was a little scared there for a minute, but I think some of it is just because this is a darker grayscale than I previously used. So let's see. It's been a week. And for me that includes the weekend because I worked this weekend. I know I mentioned in my last color in chat that it was a drill weekend and we were supposed to have our holiday party. And I was in charge of the gift, the raffle basket, and I got a message Friday uh, that came down from my supervisor via our commander that unfortunately we were going to have to change the plans for Saturday for our party because COVID restrictions. You can't have more than 50 people in a space for like non-essential activities. So um we ended up they got the pizza and the wings and everything, and messing obviously if is essential, you know, everybody needs to eat. So they got us the pizza and wings, and unfortunately, you know, they couldn't allow families to come in. Usually we have stuff set up for the kids, and people bring their spouses and whatnot, and um they were gonna let us change into civilian clothes, and so then they said nope, we can't do that. um they did end up letting us out early to kind of like, I guess, soften the blow, which, well, I guess it worked out. I mean, it worked out good being able to leave early, but you know, it was, oh, we want you to go home and spend some extra time with your family since they couldn't be here, which I live an hour and a half away from the base, and normally when I go up, I stay in the hotel. So I mean, that aspect of it wasn't you know, my family wasn't up there with me, so ended up just going back to the hotel and um hanging out and tried to work on some coloring projects for some things coming up that I would like to do. And it was definitely probably it was definitely one of the more stressful weekends that I have had in a while, as a supervisor. And I can't really go into like the specific details of it for, you know, uh privacy reasons, but those of you out there who work in a job where you are a mandatory reporter of of any kind can probably deduce from that what you know, I may have had to deal with over the weekend. And so you know, that was stressful, obviously. um I take I take that stuff like super hard because of um my own background, and I'm an emotional person. And it's difficult. The military environment is difficult as a woman anyways. And you know, I am an emotional person. It doesn't take much for me to you know, to cry. I cry when I'm mad, I cry when I'm sad, sometimes I cry when I'm happy, I cry when I'm nervous. It just in people tend to look at that as like not being in control of your emotions. And um you know, some people are better equipped to deal with when that, you know, happens than others. And it's not, I can be crying and be perfectly in like in control of myself. It's just the way my body like responds. And it doesn't mean that like I'm irrational or that I can't think clearly or you know um anything like that. So it was it was pretty draining, and it's going to be something that is there's probably going to be more to come with dealing with that. And on top of that, we had just we have times that we're supposed to be at work, our senior NCOs, of which I am, after my promotion over the summer. We have to be there between 6 6:30 and 7, and they know when you show up late. There's no like sneaking around that. And then our airmen and our junior NCOs have to be there between like 7 and 7:30. And um we've had some people getting a little lax with what time they're expected to be there. And it's just because you have to be there by 7:30 doesn't mean that you should plan to walk in the door at 7:28. um and it's like, we get things happen, and especially now in this area with the weather and whatnot, I always want people to be safe. But it's like, you're expected to be here at this time, you should plan to be there early. And so we had in one weekend 3 people show up late. And so two of them were my people. Two of them are people that are assigned to me. And so it necessitated some paperwork. And then, of course, because 3 people in one weekend, our superintendent, who is the senior master sergeant that's in charge of the section, obviously was not happy. And there was a big discussion with some loud voices. And um, it changed like the whole like vibe of the office. Like, nobody wants to get ripped a new one. And it's like, well, just show up on time. So I had that going on. And then um it's always tough being gone for the weekend and then coming back, and all of the stuff that I would normally try and tackle on the weekend, to set myself up for the week so that I stay on top of things, and be able to record and work on content, which typically I do between loads of laundry or taking care of animals. We have 2 rabbits, 6 guinea pigs, a dog, and 2 cats. And so there's always something, that needs to be done. And so that's a huge part of my routine. And then, since I am the aside from, my drill weekends right now, I'm the stay-at-home parent. I take on the majority of, um the household responsibilities. But there are times that I get frustrated because, especially my kid, it just seems to I feel like a lot of times they just think that, oh, well, I'm here all day, that means I don't have to clean up after myself. And no, that's not what it means at all. It's um you know taking care of an entire house and a place that we all share this space. Like, I'm not here to just, you know, oh, well, mom's here, so she'll just take care of it. Um So I can just leave this here. I can leave my laundry on the floor and mom will come and get it. And I've I've told my kid, I was like, if it's not in the hamper, I'm not washing it. So if you run out of socks and underwear in the middle of the week after I've already done laundry, well, you know, um and so coming home and seeing a mountain of laundry in the hamper, it's like, well, I guess that's gonna be my Monday. And um that's pretty typical for coming home Sunday night and trying to suss out like what my Monday is going to look like. And um I give my husband a little bit of grace this weekend because he was in the middle of um trying to finish at least the half of the living room project that he's been working on. We've wanted to just do a bunch of painting and things like that for quite some time. And it kind of started out, we had this faux brick wall um that line the wall like when you come into the house. And um he was gonna try and do something over the top of it, um and it didn't work out, so he ended up ripping the whole thing down. And of course it was like stuck to the drywall, so all of the drywall came down, which meant he had to re-drywall the space. So my living room was a mess, and still don't have my Christmas tree up. And so he was working on trying to get at least that half of the living room painted. So, he had a project for the weekend. And so it was like, okay, but it's like if you're coming home after a weekend like that and just, being like, well, um, I guess I know what I'm going to tackle on Monday. I wish, even if he had just, thrown them in the machine and all I had to do was like fold them. Because then on top of that, I've got to go grocery shopping, and the guinea pig pens are going to need to be um cleaned. That gets done twice a week, and nobody helps with that. That's falls solely on me. So like a huge chunk of my morning is making sure that the rabbits and the guinea pigs um are, their area is spot cleaned, and that everybody has their hay restocked for the morning. And then trying to, get the laundry going. And I still have like 3 loads of laundry that are sitting on my bed, um, waiting for me to fold them. And, um, and then dishes, and, um, I'm trying to figure out what to feed everybody. And I've been doing a lot of crock pot meals, which seems to help. Which incidentally, after I am um, finished with recording, I'm going to go and get dinner started while this is rendering in my editing program, because that seems to be. Oh, I missed a leaf there. I'll have to go back tackle that. I'm trying to pick different elements so that you guys aren't like watching me color the same piece the whole video. So we'll go back and do that. Minute. Um, but yeah, so I've been doing quite a few crock pot recipes as of late because it's like by the time dinner rolls around, if I don't have anything planned, I'm just like I leftovers, and then if we don't have any leftovers, then it's kind of like so it's easier to just throw it in the crock pot and let it do its thing all day, and then it's ready to go in the evening. Um, so incidentally, on that note, if anybody has any good crock pot recipes, feel free to hit me up in the description. Leave me links, and you can always DM me on Instagram, or follow me on Twitter. The links to those are in the About Me section of the page. Um, but yeah, I would love to hear if anybody has any good like winter recipes that they would be interested in sharing with me. Let's see what else. So we splurged and we ordered a new bed. You know, the King of Flannel did a whole bunch of like reviews, and he's like, yeah, he's like, we need a new bed. He's like, I can't with this one anymore. Only problem is because we got this bed when we were stationed in Germany, their sizing is a little bit different. So the frame and the mattresses, um, we couldn't buy a frame here, um, and expect the mattresses to fit, or vice versa. We had to buy a whole new setup. And so he did a bunch of research and he came back and was like, yeah, this company got excellent reviews. And, we looked at a couple things and I sent him some links of things that I liked that were local, thinking we could go like check them out and then have it delivered. And then he found this other thing, and they were doing like a bundle deal. So you got the mattress and um the frame and like a free bedding set. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head how much it was, but of course, like it all shipped in different pieces, and so um it was all expected to be here at like different times. And then the mattress and the bedding apparently showed up while I was at work over the weekend, and the frame was stuck in FedEx purgatory in at the depot our um in our city. It was like here, but it was like we didn't know when it was going to be delivered. And the date kept changing, and then at one point it said delayed, and then it said expected delivery next business day, then it was delayed again, and now it's saying that it's supposed to be here today. And so like we were parking our cars on the lawn, figuring that this is going to be a pretty sizable package, and they could just back the FedEx truck up the driveway and it would be less um less distance to move it, and they could just leave it by the garage. Which is all fine and good until it started snowing, and now, you know, I hope it's here today because I would really like to not have my car on the lawn to be potentially, you know, clipped by a snowplow. Let's see. I think I'm gonna do. I'm not sure what color I want to do. Actually, I fibbed. I do know what color I want to do. I'm gonna do the bow. I'll move back up to the bow. Um, so yeah, it would be great if it came today, and then I could put my car back in the driveway, because it would just be my luck to have the brand new car clipped by a snowplow and just, you know. Let's see here. So this color that I'm using now, I don't exactly know what it is. It's a mix. There's probably some new gamboge in there. There's probably some sienna of some sort in there. Yeah, I do a lot of mixing, and then whatever I don't use just stays in the palette to be used for future projects. And I might I don't know if I'll do it on camera, but I think I might use some of the Paul Rubens metallics for some elements on this page. I got a little carried away there. But yeah, definitely for these ornaments down below. I am working on a couple things that I hope to be out either. I'm hoping to have one of them ready for Friday, pending um pending nothing like, you know, comes up. Um I am working on a how I color with ornaments using the Castle Arts pencils. I did get my replacement set, and gosh darn it, I'm gonna use them. Fortunately, uh, I opened the envelope for the replacement set, and two of them were broken in the package. So, um, I'm going to email them back and let them know, hey, you know, it's like at this point, I'm not going to ask for another replacement set. Like that ship has sailed. They were gracious enough to send me the one replacement set. This is basically just going to be a like feedback, like, hey, I don't know where you manufacture these. I don't know whether or not it is I have seen some other people that had the breakage issues that I was having. I have also seen people that have had zero issues with them. So, you know, if nothing else, providing, you know, that feedback saying, hey, like you might want to look at um your manufacturing process. Um some and some of it could be on Amazon. The second one, the second set came in the zipper case, the Castle Arts zipper case. I did not get the tin. And it was in, you know, a standard um, minimally packaged uh, Amazon envelope. So there's that. But anyways, I am going to use them for my project. All right, I'm gonna start working on some of these berries. I'm gonna start over here, and I am using this is quinacridone red. This is not part of my main palette. I just put some of this in here because I wanted to use it. And so right now I'm only dolloping a little bit of the red in here. Once it dries a little bit, I'm going to go in with a clean brush and just drag some of the color out, just to give myself some highlights, because like the white right now is a little too much of a highlight. So I'm just you know, kind of putting the paint where I want it, and then we'll pull some of the color out. And if I need to darken up some of these shadow areas, I'll go in with um a little darker of a concentration of paint to darken up some of those areas. And this is just because I don't want to switch brushes right now, so it's easier to just get the red in where I want it and then go in with the other brush and just pull some of that color out. And then I'm still trying to decide. I think I'm gonna leave these little leaves for last until I finalize my holly leaves, because that's gonna determine what color these end up, because I don't want them to be the same color. So I may change up my mixture a little bit. That is a little too much. Yeah, I don't want it all to look the same. And I can always go back in with maybe some Posca after it completely dries and just add in some little details. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep this like super simple in terms of like my color palette. Oh, I gotta do his tail down. Their tails down here. Um, all right. I'm gonna let this dry for a minute and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Take a quick break to go let the doggo out. And I thought I heard a truck outside. So I was hoping maybe it was my new bed, but nothing is here yet. Brush, for whatever reason, compared to the rest of the brushes in the set, holds quite a bit of water. I'm trying to remember what I was chatting about before before I took my break. see. I'm hoping, since I dug it out of the closet and I have the space now, since the living room is put back together, that be able to get the tree up. And my son actually expressed interest in wanting to do it when he comes home from school this afternoon, which I should actually be able to do, because theoretically, while this video is rendering, I can throw dinner in the crock pot and fold some laundry and get the mountain off my bed. Yeah, I'm not sure how much of this I will get done. I keep hearing trucks now outside. Also keep like obsessively checking the tracking. And you know, it'll be here when it's here. And even if it shows up, I need the King of Flannel here to help put it together. I'm not even sure I could move the box into the garage, but at least to get it out of the snow. Alright, let me just take a minute here. Make sure I didn't miss any of the little berries. These I'm gonna make a little darker. Some of these up here, I might just add the highlights in with Posca afterwards. And some of these would be shadowed anyway, so I don't even really... Like this one, I'll probably go in and darken it up in the little area where the other berries sit over top of it. But like these should have a little bit of a highlight to them because they're kind of exposed here. And then I kind of have a plan for my birds too. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the highlights on these. I can always add them in later. I might even pull... I know I have a Caroline Maroon in my Boxo paints. And depending on how far I get, maybe I'll just make this my... I'll just do a whip and chat for Friday. We'll work on this. I don't know, I always find it like hit or miss when I do things in multiple parts. Although now that I've figured out how how to actually like add the little like title or the little like cards that pop up and link to other stuff. I did a speed painting last week, so I didn't really want to do another speed paint this week. but I also don't want this video to end up being like hours long, because statistically, at least at the point that I'm at right now, for me, anything past like 45 minutes to an hour doesn't quite generate the interest. And that's not to say that down the road I won't do longer videos. It's such a double-edged sword, because it's like if your videos are too long, then they don't quite generate as much interest. But then if you split your videos into parts, they like the the second part doesn't generally do as well. And also struggle with, like, when I do multi-part videos, like, you essentially have to have it like done and just ready to post the parts, and you kind of have to do them consecutively. So like if I take too much time in between because I've recorded the first part but I'm still working on the image and I'm not ready to post the second part yet, then again, that like kind of loses its luster. So they have to be fairly ready to go. So, but I don't know, maybe down the road as I get faster. And it's trying to find that balance of um you know, different people have different, viewing habits and viewing reasons, and some people like the tutorial approach, and some people like the chatting, and some people don't really care. They just, the video on as background noise or whatnot. So in trying to mix it up, like I don't want to do like all tutorials, and sometimes I don't really have any like tutorial ideas. Currently I have a few. Um and then, when I'm doing these color and chats, balancing it out between like chatting about the channel and what's going on and things I have planned, and um things going on in my life, and also like walking you guys through what I'm doing and why I'm doing things a certain way. And I'm actually really pleased with the way these have turned out. A couple of them are gonna need some touch-ups, but I'm gonna jump back over to this one over here because I want to do a little getting there. But there's a definite, I've noticed, I see I change gears so much. There's a definite with most pages, but I find especially with the watercolor is where has a definite like ugly phase to it. And I think that I get discouraged by the ugly phase all the time for whatever reason, though. Like um with the watercolor, I don't know, I'm just able to like push through it. And it's like these looked like super flat and muted and whatnot at first, and then once I went back and added some additional color to it, it's like that now they just pop. I'm gonna hit this with a dryer real quick so I can do these other, because I don't want to put my hand in this. So but it's like if you can push past that like first layer, once you start adding your fine details and things like that, is when these images, when your images really start coming to life. All right, that should be. Oh no. Stand by, guys. Whoops. So apparently my little like light switch down here, the little like plug for it, I sit cross-legged in my chair, and if I bump it, it pops out of the outlet. Okay, I'm gonna shift gears. Make sure this brush is clean. I should go change this water, but it is what it is. I think we'll be okay. I'm going to bring in some green gold. And I think I want to give this a little bit of a more of a yellow hue. I want it to be kind of olive colors. So let's try some of this lemon yellow, and some of you are probably like, oh my god, what is she doing? You've got green paint in your yellow paint. That's okay. It'll come right out. Don't even worry about it. Let's grab a little of the raw sienna. And you know what? Just a little bit of that in there. Well, I'm going to start working on some of these up here. And I'm also trying to think of other things to talk about while I do this. I feel like I've pretty much exhausted what's going on in my life. Are these little flappies. Has everybody finished their holiday shopping? I'm still waiting for one thing to show up for the King of Flannel, but in terms of like my like gifts and things like that, yeah, I'm done. And it's probably a good thing because shipping times are in kind of insane right now. I ordered something else like for myself. I have a couple sets of Tombow markers that are coming, and I ordered some different cardstock and some cosmic shimmer paints, and the cosmic shimmer paints are telling me they won't be here till January. So I don't know if like where they're shipping from, but yeah, that one kind of um that one kind of threw me a little bit. Do I have any more of those? No. Okay, so for the next part, I'm gonna work on the little leaves. And for those, I'm just gonna kind of try and stick to um just a as true of a green as I can get here. These are pretty tiny, so I might need to switch to a smaller brush. Yeah, these are just gonna be some sap green. I'm not gonna do anything fancy um with these. And then once I am done with these, I will hit it again with the dryer. And I think the last thing that I will do on camera is I want to go back and show you guys um, some glazing with these birds. So I'm just gonna try and get these little green leaves. Yeah, I want to add some interest to the birds. I want to show you guys uh a little bit of that technique before we stop for the day. And I'm not filling these all the way up. I can try and go out a little bit later with a clean damp brush and bring some of that color out. But honestly, I don't dislike how it looks with the little bit of white space in there. And sometimes like just leaving that little bit of like white paper, like the artist is giving us some of the highlights. And as long as I'm not getting like super harsh edges, um sometimes I just leave it like that, leave the white of the paper showing through. Was a little darker. All right, I'm just taking a look, making sure I've got all these little leaves for right now. All right, let's hit it with the dryer. And then we will work on our birds. Okay, so what I am going to do is bring back in a little bit of, trying to find the brush I want to use. I'm gonna bring back in a little bit of the, what did I say this was? Quinacridone burnt orange, I think, ish. And then I'm going to add, not even wet anymore. I'm going to add some raw umber, because I want it to keep that same orangey tone, but this will give me a little bit darker of a value here. This is gonna essentially be shadow color. I'm just gonna kind of come up in these corners and just really lightly around these edges. And I can go back in and run some of these out. Which I probably will do off camera. So we still got this you know, that tone of the burnt the quin burnt orange underneath there. But it's just adding a little bit of depth and interest in some of these shadows. And also to our bird, and just making him look a little less fat. I can also kind of add a little bit of that in some of these little like feather areas, which could do with a smaller brush. But that's the nice thing about these Craftimo brushes, is you can get a lot of those little like fine details without without necessarily needing to change brushes. Up around his hat, and in this little corner here where he's next to the other bird. And I might even go in later and with an even darker value, really in a tinier brush, right up into um, that line underneath his hat. And we're gonna do the same thing over here. I got a little darker in there than I wanted, but that's okay. Blend that out. And I can also dab just a little bit with my and actually I'm gonna fill in her cheek. She doesn't really have too big of a highlight on the cheek there. It's more on her forehead. So this is just adding some dimension to those shadows. And I am going to very, very carefully just add there. I'm gonna bring some of this out. I'm just trying to like soften up these edges, which sometimes I find for me is easier to do um after I let it dry and I really have an idea of what what my edges look like. Sometimes it's hard to see when it's damp. So I'm just gonna a little bit around here. And so for her, I don't want it quite as dark on this side. Since she's in front of him, she's taking the majority of the light, but I do want to just add a little dimension in here. Just some variations in the tone. And then down here where the holly is giving her some shadow. And then over here on this wing, bit. Yeah, I think that looks super cute so far. So, with that being said, I think that's where I am going to stop for today. And I'm going to go throw some dinner in the crock pot, make myself some lunch, and do some laundry. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and taking the time to watch this video. I super, super appreciate it. If you enjoyed it and you would like to see more, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified when I post additional content, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.